Hello, Freckle. You going to come and join the others? Go and say hello to Peggy. Hello, Peggy. And there's Speckle. We've moved out of the brooder and into the nursery. And so far it's all going really well. Go on, Freckle, up on your perch. You going to jump up? Or are you going to come over here and join these two? Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Freckle. She wants to come over, look. She keeps going to fly. She keeps crouching down, ready to jump and spread her wings. There she goes. Oh, not quite. You nearly did it, Freckle. Try again. You can see how friendly Freckle is, look. She's thoroughly enjoying sitting on me more than the perches that I've given her. You can see they're all pretty well feathered now, look. I think it might be struggling to focus that close. You can see they're all pretty well feathered. We're actually still getting some chilly nights. It's getting down to 10 or 11 degrees. But I don't think they were even using the heater anymore down in Brad's shed. I didn't see any evidence that they'd been sleeping under it or on top of it. The big pile of poo, which is what tells you where they're sleeping, was under the pallet that I gave them to play on. So that I don't think they were sleeping under the heater anyway. You can see Freckle's got a little mohawk going on. Ain't you, Freckle? She's a little bit smaller than Peggy. And Speckle. But feathered enough. Now I'm hoping that come night time, my arm's getting tired, young lady. Are you just going to stay there? Fair enough. The plan is that at night time they'll go in here into the conservatory where they've got plenty to perch on. I'll put some branches in there for them and a pallet, so they've got plenty to climb on. And I think they're probably going to sleep up there, I would imagine. Freckle, I kind of need my arm back, missus. Would you mind just jumping down? Come on, down you go, there's a good girl. Off you go. Go on. Well, go on. She doesn't want to get off me. Look at you, you silly little girl. Alright, she's spent the last few weeks with these two learning how to be a chicken. But she is still very imprinted on people. I think she's going to be another Shirley. She's going to be another favourite. What do you three think of the situation then? You're not too overjoyed, are you? You know they're there, and you're hiding in the opposite corner making angry noises. Yeah, especially you, Ginger. But as you can see, look, Speckle's not helping matters. Speckle's standing there, looking at them and winding them up. Once these three young girls are big enough, once they're pretty much the same size as the three big girls, all of this can go. I'll take away the pallets, I'll take away the netting. Once they're all about the right size, keep the door open again. And they could all live together, but for now, obviously they have to be separate. Because these three little ones wouldn't be able to defend themselves. And quite rightly so, at the moment, the three big girls just see them as invaders. They don't know who they are, they don't know why they're here, they're not too happy about it, as you can hear. But yeah, over the next few weeks, they'll get used to each other. We'll be able to do away with the partition in the middle, and I'll have a flock of 6. Are you winding up the big girls, Speckle? Actually, while we've got such a nice clear view of Speckle, I just want to show you one or two things that make me slightly worried we might have a rooster, although it's only a very slight worry. They are some really thick, long legs. That's quite a sign of a rooster, often. And also, look at the wattles under her beak. The wattles are getting quite large at a fairly early age. But that's not necessarily a sign of a rooster, it just can be. Compared to the other two, they've got hardly any wattles whatsoever. Not too much of a concern, just something I'm keeping a bit of an eye on. I mean, she's got those great big thick legs, but there are no spur buds. There are no spur buds. She's not growing any spurs, so that's a good sign. I'm probably just over worrying. They're all very calm. They've settled in pretty well. There's no panicking going on. They all seem fairly confident, fairly well settled. They know where their food and water is. They've got an uncovered bit, a covered bit. They've got their little conservatory in there, which gets lovely and warm first thing in the morning. They've got their perches to sit on. They've got plenty to keep them occupied, and whatever the weather's doing, they've got somewhere in here where they'll be comfortable. They're not over the moon about you, are they, Speckle? They're going to have to get used to it. So far, so good from their perspective. They're settling in just fine. The older girls are being a bit of a pain, but this was them at one time, once they were the newcomers. And they were getting shouted at like this by the older girls, who are all since long gone. I'm going to get on and do a few jobs. Give it a couple of hours and just make sure they're settling in okay, and I might pop back last thing in the evening just before they all go to bed. I don't think these three have ever tasted worms yet, unless a worm got into Brad's shed. So I've just dug them up a little treat. Let's see what they make of this. Here you go, girls, look. They are kids. What do you make of that? Slightly confusing. Oh, Speckle's got one. They don't quite know what to do with them, do they? Oh, mind your foot, Peggy, that worm's coming for you. The others are rapidly escaping. And they're dropping them on the floor. Well, better luck next time. At least you've met some worms. Maybe tomorrow you'll do a bit of scrabbling round and dig some up for yourself, eh? Shut up, Shirley. Now Peggy's winding them up. That's it, Shirley, you have a preen. Show them that you don't care. Well, you clearly do, because you're making quite a noise. You tell them. Look at them, they're as thick as thieves, these three. You'd never guess, would you, that poor little Freckle in the middle there, she lived on her own for the first week of her life. And then Igor sorted me out with Freckle and Speckle when with Peggy and Speckle when Freckle was already about a week old. And look, you'd think they'd hatch together, wouldn't you? Butter wouldn't melt in their mouths. If only they knew the upset that they were causing to these old girls. Now here's a look at what they've got there, the three chicks, as their indoor section. It's got a polycarbonate roof, a polycarbonate east facing side. So as soon as the sun comes up in the morning, this is the east side, so the sun comes up and this straight away starts to warm up really nicely. So I think they're going to be fine. They're going to enjoy that. And I'll just show you what I've set up for them on the inside. All this is made out of pallets and scrap. All I really paid for when I built this was the screws, and I bought a small amount of chicken wire. Even most of that was scavenged. But let me show you what they've got in here. They've got their conservatory there, look. And I've put a hoe at the end so they can climb up the hoe, but they don't need to because they're so good at jumping and flying. And they've got these two branches that are pruned off the fruit trees back in the winter. And a pallet. So this is all very familiar to them. This bit here is actually pretty much identical to what they were living in Brad's shed in their brooder. So I've sort of replicated it on this side of their nursery just to make it a bit familiar for them, make it a bit easier for them. Now there are various methods that people use of introducing new chickens to an existing flock a bit easier. All I've ever done is give it time. I let them live together but separated for quite a few weeks, a couple of months at least, until the chicks are almost as big or as big as the grown-up girls, and until they're all a bit more used to each other. You can hear what's going on today. The big girls aren't happy about it at all. One method I've heard of is that you turn up in the middle of the night when the chickens and the chicks are all asleep. You take the newcomers under dead of night and move them into the space where the big girls are sleeping. Now apparently when they all wake up in the morning, they're too dumb to realise what's happened and they think they're a flock. I've heard very, very mixed reports on whether that works or not. Apparently sometimes it does, but chickens just aren't as stupid as people think. I'm not sure that would work. There's another method which Igor told me about and I'd never heard of before, but I think I might give it a go. What you do is you get some apple cider vinegar. Now I use apple cider vinegar anyway. I put it in their water because it stops them getting intestinal parasites. It makes the stomach too acidic for worms and parasites to live in, and it helps to keep them healthy. What you do is you take some apple cider vinegar, you mix it, I think Igor said 50-50 with water, put it in a spray bottle and absolutely drench all of the birds. Now they're not going to like that very much for a few minutes, but the idea is you drench them all in apple cider vinegar and water, and it masks their smell. Now Igor was saying that it's by smell that they identify an intruder. So when you drench them in apple cider vinegar, they all smell of booze, and they don't realise that they're unacquainted and that they think they should fight. They don't do that. I might give it a go. I'm still going to wait until they're much bigger, obviously. But when the day does come to remove the partition in there, I think I might try the apple cider vinegar idea. Shirley's not happy, is she? I'm sorry, Shirley, but if you'd have done your duty like we originally planned, if you'd have actually sat on those eggs and raised them as your own, we wouldn't have this situation, would we? Eh? No. You lost interest and walked away, so I had to raise those little girls in an incubator. And now you see them as invaders. It's your own fault. Well, 4 hours in, they've stopped perching, sitting up there. They've gained yet more confidence, and they've started having a good forage. I'm not sure what they found there. It could be woodlice, it could be spiders, it could be worms, although the worms I gave them they weren't very interested in. They're having a good forage, having a little feed. It's going to start getting dark in a couple of hours, so I'm glad they're having some food, get their energy up for the night. Now I'm slightly concerned that they've decided they like perching on top of the door here. Now that door isn't actually under cover. Back there is under cover, but they're sitting here mostly. Now I don't want them sleeping there tonight in case it starts raining. These three have never experienced rain. So far they've been in Brad's shed, so I don't want them falling asleep up there tonight and then it starts raining, and once it's dark chickens can't see a thing. They've got no night vision whatsoever, so they're not going to be able to get themselves indoors to the dry. So I think what I'm going to have to do, maybe just for tonight so that they realise, I'm going to come here at dusk. I'm expecting to find them all sitting on there. I'm going to put them indoors, I'm going to put their water and their food in there with them, and I'm going to shut that gate, I'm going to shut that door, so that tonight, wherever they fall asleep, they're going to be under cover. And I'll get up here first thing tomorrow morning and let them back out again. And I mean first thing, maybe 6 o'clock, something like that. They're settling in nicely so far. I'm well pleased. And so are they. They're loving it. I just went in and had a look to see what it is they're actually eating. It's spiders' webs. And those spiders' webs have actually got a lot of spiders' eggs. And some of those, you know, you get those batches of little tiny spiders. That's what they're pecking at. Which is good because they're full of protein. Look at them go. Happy as Larry. They're half foraging, half dust bathing. They're having a whale of a time. But it's 8:30 now. I've been here since about midday. They're well settled in, and I've just harvested myself some cabbage, some carrots, some peas, some new potatoes. So all that remains now is on the way home. I need to stop at Morrison's and get a nice bit of lamb or something to go with all that lovely fresh veg that I've grown. And I think now it's time for these three to get put in here for the night. I'm going to put their food in with them, put their water in with them. If I put them in there, it doesn't matter what the weather does, they're going to be fine. So I'll do that now, let them get settled in for the night, and I'll be back first thing in the morning to let them back out again and continue doing what they're doing. Look at them, they're loving it. And this lot have settled down quite well. They've actually shut the hell up now. So say goodbye to Freckle, Speckle and Peggy. I'll be back tomorrow. Oh dear me. Oh, right, morning girls. Let's go and see how the kids are doing, shall we? I can hear them chirping away. I wonder if they slept on those branches that I gave them. I know I'm probably kneeling in poo. It's just too early to care. Morning, kids. Sleeping under your pallet there? How was your first night in your new house, eh? Come on, come and have some breakfast corn.